132.6. Collectively, we are the Mind of Men. Don't forget to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast, on Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast, and for all my YouTubers, don't forget to like and subscribe.
And welcome to another Black Friday. Okay, it's no secret that our ancestors have 100% equity, sweat equity, in this country. I'm going to say that again. It's no secret that our ancestors have 100% sweat equity in this country. We know that Caucasians hatched a diabolical plan to get free labor out of our African ancestors, and in the process, oppressing and brainwashing them. Not to mention, Caucasians stripped us of our identity, making many African Americans today clueless to who they are and where they originate from. So with that being said, fellas, let me ask y'all, do y'all know what part of Africa your ancestors are from?
No.
No, sir.
No.
Okay.
I know where Comedian 96 is from.
Where you from?
The safari. Where the animals hang out.
Okay. Now, before we get into today's show, I want to share a story with y'all. About 2 or 3 years ago, I received a Father's Day gift from my children. And the gift was an African ancestry DNA test. Now, that DNA test is most accurate from the maternal side of the family. So what that means is if you do the DNA test from individuals on the maternal side of your family, then the accuracy is a little bit better than the paternal side of the family. So your mother's side of the family.
Mom's side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what that means is that I needed to use my grandmother's DNA. Mm-hmm. Now that was problematic because she's deceased. Mm-hmm. Now the next person in line would be my mother.
Right.
That's also problematic because she too is deceased. Mm-hmm. Now the only living female on my mother's side of the family is my mom's sister, which is my aunt. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I did the DNA test on her. And so to get an accurate read from the maternal side of my family to kind of give me an idea of where we come from, right? So after doing the DNA test, the results came back. And my family is from Sierra Leone, which is in Western Africa. Sierra Leone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if y'all are not familiar with that, do y'all recall the movie Amistad?
Yeah.
Okay, those Africans were from Sierra Leone. Now, in Sierra Leone, there are about 16 different ethnic groups. Each of them have their own language. Now, the country's main 2 ethnic groups are the Timni tribe and the Mende tribe. My family comes from the Mende tribe. So, where I come from is, on my mother's side of the family, is Sierra Leone, and our tribe is the Mende tribe. Mm-hmm. Now, although I've just shared a little history about my family history, on the African side of my family, this episode is not about that. Today's episode is about black people talking without thinking. I'm going to say that again. It's about black people talking without thinking. So I'm going to share another story, which is what inspired me to do this show. So I was in the cigar lounge having a smoke, and I heard somebody say, they were in deep conversation. There's always deep conversation within the cigar lounge. Mm-hmm. So I heard somebody say that black folks need to leave this country and go back to our homeland to see how America survived without black people.
What?
Now,
I feel that.
on the surface, and I'm glad you said that, came on the surface, I'm like, okay, I understand where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you may be upset with the way the government is or the way America is, and we know, as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, that our ancestors have 100% sweat equity in this country, to where, hey, this country, we built this, right?
Right.
But we're being treated unfairly in a lot of cases.
Right.
So just in casual conversation, man, we all just need to go back to our homeland and see how America survived without us. On the surface, that sounds good.
Right.
Now, K-Money, you said that you feel that. So I was going to ask y'all, well, what do y'all think about it? And will y'all be down with moving back to Africa?
I would be. I mean, I've never been, and that is, something on my bucket list. But seeing how, we've been trying to get our 40 acres and a mule ever since, why not?
Now, to live there, I don't know.
It'd be a hell of.
Because what we don't know is how we would be treated over there. Because we do know that there are some African culture or people who kind of don't really, tend to treat us well at all either. Because some of them have this thing about we're not even real black people.
Right.
So when you say us, you mean Africans treating African
Americans, right?
A little funky.
Different.
Right, different.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
shit,
you
do
know-
you think that they would treat us worse than what we being treated are over here now?
No, I don't think. I think we'd have a better chance over there because of it's black people,
Right?
And that's what the culture is there. But over here, we treat it so unfairly because there's so many different cultures that don't like black people.
Exactly.
Or respect.
Or respect, right?
Yeah, it'll be like, I hate to use this reference, is when they had these storms in New Orleans, and then New Orleans moved down here, and we were like, man, all these New Orleans people.
Right.
If we did that, all these African American people moving over here, man, and they ain't real, because you know how some of them think about and talk about us. They say we lazy. We not. We're not taking advantage of stuff, and
I'm sure some would be receptive and some wouldn't be.
Yeah.
But again, I would, I would love that opportunity, to do that and just to see, how America adjusts.
It will be a hell of an adjustment. I was just about to say that because, don't get me wrong, you will have some people that will be in your corner, but I think the majority, once they see a bulk of African Americans from the U.S. moving to Africa, just say if a bunch of us, say 15 million of us decide to move there, once they see the influx of African American people from the U.S., I think the thought process will change. I think some for the good, but I think most for the bad.
Yeah, so when I first heard the individual say that, when I was in the cigar lounge and I heard him say that, the very first thing that came to my head was, man, he not thinking. I understand where he's coming from, but he's not thinking. I'm not down with that. I don't think that would actually work, because the first thing you want to do is, first thing you need to know this. Africa is a continent with about 5 different regions. You got North Africa, Eastern Africa, Middle Africa, South Africa, and West Africa. Now, within those regions, you have about 54 countries, right? Now, when it comes to North Africa, y'all know the main two. I'm going to give y'all 2 places within this place. There are several others, but y'all kind of be familiar with. So when it comes to North Africa, you got Egypt and Libya.
Okay.
When it comes to Eastern Africa, you got Kenya and Ethiopia. When it comes to Middle Africa, you got Congo and Chad. When it comes to Southern Africa, you got South Africa and Botswana.
Botswana, I was just
Botswana, right? And then when it comes to Western Africa, you have Nigeria, Ghana, and I'm going to throw in where I'm from, my ancestors are from, which is Sierra Leone.
Sierra Leone.
Okay, now, Here's the thing: if you're gonna make that move back to Africa, I know if they say, okay, Freddie G, you got to go to Africa. There's no need for me to look at Northern Africa, Eastern Africa, Middle Africa, or South Africa. I'm going to go to Western Africa because I know that my tribe, the Mende tribe, is Sierra Leone. I'm going to go to Sierra Leone. That's the part of Africa. I'm going to go to Western Africa. So the person that was saying we need to go back to Africa, first, I don't think you thinking. What part of Africa? Where you going?
Yeah, right. Going. Where you going?
You going to
saying
Egypt?
Africa.
You going to Libya? Yeah, you just going to Africa. Where you going?
Yeah.
Well, let's say we all do that DNA test to find out where our ancestors from, and that's when we determine, what part we want to go to, instead of just going to Africa and not knowing, like you're saying, what area, what part we were interested in going to. I think we would want to go back to where our ancestors are from, which would make it a little easier. They still may not be receptive, but once they realize and figure out, hey, we family or we blood.
Yeah, that's when they're going to say, okay, we're going to make sure you okay, because we know you are of our family.
Right, that transition may be a little easier, smoother.
So now here's something else you got to factor in if you're making that move. Let's keep it a buck. Healthcare.
Yeah.
What is the healthcare like
there.
in Africa?
Yep. Healthcare.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that is something to look
It's
at and consider, especially the region that you're going to, because I know it's a lot worse in some than it is in others.
Yeah, it's probably not free.
Yeah, so think about let's remove the monetary part.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just remove the monetary part. We're going to just say nothing in life is free. Nothing in life is free.
Mm-hmm.
But when you think about healthcare, who got the better healthcare? The U.S., meaning medicines, or Africa?
Africa. Yeah.
That's a good question. And the reason why I'm going to say that is because there are a lot of natural ingredients that can cure disease that's grown from the earth that we don't know about in those countries.
It is known about. It's just people are afraid to use
the products because they from another
Good
country.
point. Great
and
point.
getting those products here to help with medicine and sickness and healing sicknesses and stuff, I think would cost more to get here rather than being over there. Now, being over there, where that comes in handy is if you know a doctor that's a healer. Let me say that because healers use natural ingredients, kind of like a Dr. Sebi type of thing. So I think over there, if they have people like that, then you may be okay because I think Dr. Sebi hit it on the nose with everything.
So let me ask you this. That's a good point, by the way. Let me ask you this. Do y'all think now outside of the things that we kind of know of a little bit when it comes to money, rich countries? I know you can get diamonds and all this stuff, these blood diamonds and all this stuff. But when you think about Africa as a whole, do you see that as a poor continent?
Most of the way that they show us, yes.
On TV.
I would agree. I think what they show us is
probably the worst of it.
Yeah, because I've seen videos on
But it's some rich people in Africa.
in YouTube. Yeah, I should show me. They say this is what
it's money
Africa
out
looks
there.
like. They'll say,
Well, we're not talking about individuals. We're talking about us moving there.
But you said
but they
Is
show
that
it a
country-
poor?
is
Is
it
it
a
a
poor
poor
country?
Meaning that your livelihood, you move there, your livelihood. How will you thrive? How will you be able to manage?
I think that's where the individual have to draw the line at, because if what you do here is not there, there's no point in you going there, because now you got to pick up and learn something completely different than what you know already, and it's going to take you a while to even get yourself established over there.
Yeah, I agree. That adjustment, in going back, I mean, it won't be easy. I would think folks would have to factor that in, that, if you decide to make this type of transition, that it won't be easy. And whether or not they consider everything that you're mentioning, Freddie G, I doubt it. But, again, I'm still for it.
Yeah. At one while, they had this thing where the African government was saying, hey, anybody black from America can come live here. Now, I don't know what the stipulations on that was, if you had to be, if your ancestors had to be from there and did you have to prove that? And were they going to give you any kind of monetary advance for going there? I don't know if that was ever established, but this was maybe a year or two ago. I think we talked about this on one show a while back about Africa accepting Americans, black Americans, into that country. But again, I mean, that's a major transition that you have to be mentally prepared for.
Now, my I know you said medicine first, right? But with the experience I've had where I worked at, I've had people that I know we're talking about Africa, but they've traveled to India, and India, the water is suspect, so to speak. So we had to send water to people over there. Japan, we don't. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, when you say send water to,
from the U.S., we would send
Right.
from the U.S. We would send them, bottles of water. or
so
whatever.
did they have, like, was it like contaminated water?
Yes, the water's bad because it's a third world country, so the water's bad. But we train. We have employees over there, so we go over and we train. So sometimes the water's not so good over there. So
Right.
we sent water from where I used to work. It was another company I used to work for,
Right.
BNY Mellon, matter of fact. And then skipping over to Japan, I remember I told y'all once before in another show that we would get beef in September. So September we would be lined up at McDonald's because that's the only burger you can't serve us a quarter pounder and say it's not a quarter pounder.
Right.
It had to be beef. So the line would be wrapped around the door because when they did their trading, September, cows, milk, because there was a shortage of milk cows over in Japan as well. My question, as far as the food in Africa, will that be the same thing? Will the water be okay? Will the food be okay? That's a big transition coming from the U.S. where you're comfortable eating soul food, chicken, and all the Italian food. Now you finna go to Africa, you finna eat
Rice.
exactly. So that's the big one right there.
And I believe that if we did have to move back to Africa, I think that we'll be exploited.
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah.
They're going to have a lot to say about the Americans.
Oh,
they
yeah,
don't-
all day.
Yeah, I don't think that they will be as receptive. They will be as accepting of us as some of us may think.
When you say exploited, and I'm assuming you mean exploited in a bad way.
Yeah, I believe that. I don't know if exploited was the right word, but I believe that
I believe we'll be off.
they'll automatically think that you got money. You're moving here.
Okay,
and
so try to take advantage of
it.
I see that happening as well.
Scammed. Yeah, we right there in the country now.
Like for instance, y'all ever seen the movie Hotel Rwanda?
I seen parts of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and what it was, the Houthis and
Yeah.
and what's the other tribe?
I can't
can't
remember. It's
remember.
been such
Yeah.
Been a minute.
But like, those people are beefing over there.
Yeah.
So you may be going into a beef that you don't know nothing about.
Yeah.
That's what I say.
Not to mention that you're going into a beef you don't know nothing about, but you're also an African American.
Yeah.
So, and that's all I think. I think it would be a lot of offing us. A group of them would get together and say, we can go out here and off some of these African Americans. I think, yeah, there will be unaliving us. That would be another problem that could possibly exist if we tried to all just get over there and move. Let's go out here and kill some of these.
So
no.
So
I think that would happen in certain regions, man. I'm
yeah,
just being
not every
optimistic.
region. I'm not gonna say it every region. No.
so if you had to
forgive me for that.
if you had to pick a place in Africa, there's Africa's a continent. There's 5 different regions, and we've got like 54 countries within that region, all regions combined. So, K-Money, can you think of a place? Now, remember, I went through and I told you North Africa, Northern Africa, Eastern Africa, Middle Africa, Southern Africa, and Western Africa. Then I named 2 places within those regions that y'all will be familiar with, that y'all have heard before. K-Money, can you think of a place where you don't think will be explored or will be accepted?
No, I can't think of any spot right offhand. I'm sitting there trying to think of some of the turmoil that I've been hearing about going on in Africa, but I can't think of any of the countries at this present time.
A lot of Americans go when they visit Africa. They go to Lagos. I would say that would be one of the places.
Where is that? Is that northern?
I think it's Western. I think it's West Africa. Yeah. So I think that would be probably the best place to start because they're used to a lot of Americans already coming to Lagos already. That would be my guess.
So
somewhere where Americans are frequently visiting, or there's a plethora of us.
So why do you think that a lot of Africans, no matter which regions they're from, whether it's north, eastern, middle, southern, or western, they're moving to the U.S.? Why do you think that they're coming here?
I think because the opportunity is just not there.
Yeah.
You know, America is a big melting pot of a lot of opportunities.
It
so
is.
much. You can be an entrepreneur here. You can work for somebody all your life. You can do pretty much anything here as long as you are comfortable with being here. Number one, you know, it's all kinds of cultures here, and they done got comfortable. You know, they setting up businesses and a lot of stuff. So I think America is a big melting pot where everybody come to make something happen because their country is not allowing it. But on the opposite end of that, I think us going there to look for opportunities, I think we'll really be lost.
I think a lot of them come here, Freddie G, in addition to what Slash mentioned, education, to further their education.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I don't think the
education is as
advanced in their country as it is here. I think, you know, we have a lot more resources available to them here than they may have in their home country.
Yeah, some medicines, specializing in some medicines, and some, I guess, I want to say agriculture. They come over.
Yeah, well,
for
most
that.
of them come to get a doctor's, you know, a degree,
Right.
in doctrine.
Right.
Yes.
It's what majority of them do. So
Yeah.
a lot of times when you have those foreigners from Africa coming here to take school courses like at colleges and stuff, most of them are going to get a doctorate.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and which is not bad. You know, they come over here, they get a good doctrine, and they get in a hospital somewhere doing something, you know, in that field, and they send their money back home. I think that's
I see
wonderful.
that a lot,
but
yeah.
but my thing is, when you mention us going over there, what can we get from going over there? And do we plan on coming back here? Because it's going to get tough over there at some point in time.
I'm glad you said that. So again, I want to harken back to my current. Well, I didn't have the conversation. I was actually eavesdropping on cats having this conversation in the cigar lounge. So when the cat that was in the cigar lounge was saying we need to just go back to Africa or go back to our homeland to see how America would survive without black people, I think that America would still be going strong
Oh, yeah.
without us.
Without
anyway.
us, of
And-
course.
And I also believe that if there isn't very much resources over in Africa, no matter what region you're from, if there are not very much resources, then an influx of African Americans going over there, that wouldn't benefit us. And so
It wouldn't benefit, but don't you think that it can influx, as you mentioned, could possibly help with the adding resources
To
taking
Africa?
resources to Africa?
I see where you're going with that. So the short answer to that is, I don't think we would be allowed that, because I think that there'll be some sort of disdain
I got you,
with us
and I
coming
can
over.
see that.
With us coming over, I don't think that we'll be able. I think that we'll be kind of oppressed
They think we're trying to
if we
Americanize.
go there, because we're coming over trying to take
Change
over.
something.
Yeah, I can see that.
So we'll kind of be oppressed. So let me ask y'all this: so if we did go over to Africa, no matter what region, and keep in mind when I say we, I'm not just talking about males. I'm talking about male and female. Who do you think? What gender do you think would thrive more over there? Would it be the female African Americans or the male African Americans?
The females.
I think it'll be even.
I think it'll be the male.
Do you think it? Yeah, I think it'll be about even because we'll both just be trying to feel it out. You know what I'm saying? Trying to feel out what's going on. Because number one, I'm pretty sure if a smart female ain't finna fall for, no tricks from a not right off. It's trusting, moving to another country, trusting anybody. I think when you get over there, just the new culture, new surroundings, you're going to try to look for your own kind.
The reason why I say I think the women would strive sooner over there is because you have a lot of African men that love black American women. And, they're going to do whatever, especially if it's newcomers. It's like a new girl coming to your school.
Fresh meat.
You know what I mean?
So you know what, that makes sense. But those Africans that love African American women, that's when they get here.
Right.
So
how would they be looked at upon their own women over there when our women come over there?
Here. Well, that's what they women. That's what we there for. They women.
Well, here's the thing: most of their women, they stick to the culture when they get here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. When those African women get to the U.S., those women will prefer African men over African American women. Yeah. Now, those African men, when they come to the U.S., they look at these American women. They're favoring a lot of American women over their women, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it's not a lot of African women over here. I mean, it is, but not like a whole country of them over there.
So if our women go over there, how would those men receive them? Because they probably wouldn't want no flack from the women over there. Then on top of that, will our women be submissive to their culture over there?
That's the whole thing right there. Whether or not they accept the culture, which I feel they should, and which is why I also said I feel that men would thrive, is because I think they're more dominant. The men are more dominant over there, and
you can't
the females are more submissive in over there. But as far as our Americanized women going to Africa, I don't think they would. I mean, hell, they're not all submissive here now. So to go to another country and try to be submissive and follow their culture, I think women would have a harder time adjusting to that versus men.
Right.
I think to go over there as a American man, in order to be respected over there, you're going to have something going on. You know what I mean?
I agree.
You're going to have something going on.
And that's well, you got to think. Of course, that got to be created from the ground up because you're just getting there. Nothing is handed to you. You're going over there with whatever money you had in your bank account. You're taking that with you. You're taking the clothes on your back and whatever money you had in your bank account.
Letting go and letting go.
And you got to go and make something happen. You got to make something happen.
You know what's so crazy? That if that were to happen, that would probably, that's why I say it'll be even. This will be probably the only time that an American woman would possibly be, a black American woman would be submissive to a black American man because, number one, it's a culture shock. They over there.
She's out of her element.
Yeah, she out of her element. Yeah. He out of her element. And she see this man is kind of sort of doing good. She going to kind of shut the hell up because she's way from the U.S. So she going to probably be submissive and fall into place because of the culture shock. I think that's why I say it's even. I don't think neither, it would have to be a togetherness because of the fact that we'll be fighting against people that may like us or may not like us.
I think that may boil down to how many more rich females than you have men, because those rich females are not going to put up with the bullshit because they going to still have that mentality that I got my own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think if you are African-American man going to Africa, you should take your African-American wife with you because it's going to get tough. You know what I mean? And especially if the African women in Africa are more submissive to the African man, then the American man ain't got nothing going on over there.
Yeah.
Well, that brings me to our black fact. Okay, today's black fact is Abdul Rahman Ibrahima Sora. Abdul Rahman Ibrahima Sora. He was the first slave freed in America. He was a prince from West Africa and was enslaved in the United States for 40 years until President John Quincy Adams freed him.
This concludes another dope episode of Black Friday. Tune in next week for Music Monday. Don't forget to follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at 52 Scott Podcast, on Instagram and Facebook, the 52 Scott Podcast, and for all my YouTubers, don't forget to like and subscribe.
So all them artificial man jokes, we do it natural from the